Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, a direct mail 2.0 company. And today I'm talking with Paul Hudson. He is the owner and CEO of Hudson Printing in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, before we get started, if you have any questions or feedback, please comment below. You can show your support by tapping the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos to the Who's Mailing What channel, click on subscribe. Now let's meet the mailers. Hi, Paul. Welcome.
Hey, Paul. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I really appreciate you being here today. So let's get started by talking about your background. Looking at the website, see Hudson Printing has been around since 1909 with 4 ownership changes. But about you, how did you get started in the world of print and marketing? And what does your role entail today?
Well, my father got involved as a young man into
Mhm.
this business and eventually bought that business. And my father was a strong believer in childhood labor. So I got introduced to the print shop very early, at a very early age. And
Cool.
so I've kind of always been around printing. And then my degree is actually in accounting. I went off into public accounting for a little while. And I wasn't sure I actually wanted to be part of the family business. But my brother, who was running the business at that time, called me and said, "Hey, come on back and be my partner." And so in 1992 is when I came back, partnered with my brother. And then we ran the business for 20 years until I bought his half of the business in 2012.
Okay. And basically, what does your job like entail day to day?
Oh boy, I would love somebody to help me understand that or chart it.
Where do you start?
Obviously, we're trying to run this business, and I feel like actually, rather than just be sort of a producer or a manufacturer, I feel like for the first time ever, perhaps we're building a brand. Actually, we're
Mhm.
really trying to help Hudson become something that speaks for as more than just simply ink on paper, but ability to provide services and provide value to our customers in ways that are still important today.
Mhm. Right. So for those who aren't familiar with familiar with Hudson, can you like give a brief rundown of your services,
Yeah,
printing, mailing, et cetera?
yeah. So we're in Salt Lake City, which is a great location to service the western half of the U.S. And we certainly do national things as well, particularly as it involves mail. But for most of our existence, we've been kind of in the Intermountain region, and we have easy and really nice freight lanes into the coast. So it's a 2-day service essentially throughout this the entire half of the country. So it's a nice place to be, and we've really grown up in recent time as a web offset printer. So as we really it's magazines and catalogs and mailing a lot of flats and that kind of thing, in marketing pieces of all types. We're really commercial printers. And then over the last decade or so, a little bit more, we've really focused on also building a very dynamic digital print business that is complementary to our traditional business. We still operate and run our web offset traditional business, but are also focused very heavily on lots of the new tricks in print.
Yep. And as far as direct mail goes, you print and mail all kinds of formats as well as have marketing and campaign planning and things like that.
We do a lot of mailing. It's sort of interesting though. If you ask the USPS, we look kind of small to them.
Yeah.
Actually, it's because as for most of us, right, that are manufacturing, we mail generally under our customers' permits for a lot of reasons, and
Mhm.
so we're mailing usually just a little shy of 100 million pieces a year. So we're not the biggest mailer in the world, but it crosses lots of boundaries. It certainly is a lot of flats, again, from that web offset magazine catalog type production, but also a lot of postcards, a lot of folded mailers, of that type. So yes. Yeah, it's quite a variety of forms and factors, and different elements to it.
Gotcha. Well, I'd like to start talking about the slogan I saw on your website, reinvent print, right?
Yeah.
Um, Talking about that, what does that mean for, in general? What about mail or what about print needs to be reinvented? You talk about how it's overdue. Well, why is that?
Well, thank you for asking. Actually, I love that question, because honestly, reinvent print, it almost sounds like we're kind of in the background, with our chemistry degrees working on new ink or new blankets or new, technologies to put ink on paper. And it really isn't that at all, obviously.
Right.
In my mind, what that really means is how do we reinvent the value of print for our customers? How do we make our what we're sending, what we're producing for our customers work better? I have a brilliant marketing friend who, in the past, talked to me, about an old case study that McDonald's had commissioned about why McDonald's was wondering why their customers buy milkshakes in the morning, and so they went and they famously did a Harvard very well-known marketing review of that. And what they found is that people were actually hiring that milkshake to do a job for their lives. And my marketing friend said, hey, the same thing's happening. Somebody's buying that print in order to achieve a result. They're buying that print to go out and do a job in the world. And so ever since then, I've kind of called that my milkshake exercises. I try to understand why it was that somebody bought that piece of print. What were they wanting it to do in the world? And our job then is to how to make that work better. What tricks or tools or new equipment or ideas can I bring that helps it do better? I'm often telling my people here, like, you're not in the business of producing print. You're in the business of selling cars and filling filling theater seats and helping people have a place to journal their thoughts and all those kinds of things. So anything that we can do that helps our customers achieve that goal better, that's reinventing print. And print has all kinds of new and fun technologies and tools in order to do that. And I find that most of our customers don't understand it. They don't know that. They don't, understand the power of personalization. They don't necessarily know what new embellishment capabilities exist, or what expanded gamut printing might look like, or whatever. We have so many opportunities and tools and cool things that we can do. It's our job to reinvent print for our customers by helping take those tools to them to the end of making the purpose for which they bought that piece of print work even better than they might have thought of on their own.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. And I've seen a lot of that myself, is that the capabilities that exist today are amazing, number one, and also that they are less expensive and more affordable and more widespread than they've ever been. But getting a lot of marketers to really understand that they're out there and to buy in, that they should, at the very least, test it and see if that works for their campaigns. It's difficult, even. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
It can be hard to do, but what we seek to be is the leaders of valuable print, right? And that might mean that there's a little less print, right? If we can produce a better result for our customers, even if there's a little bit less print, well, that's fine by us. What we want to be is the leaders in valuable print, the leaders in print that actually achieves the particular result that they're seeking better than any other method.
I'm thinking about like some of the interviews they talked about the letterpress that you've brought into the company, and how it makes long runs easier and they're more impactful. I always love talking about data and using data better, make it more impactful, and how that really should be guiding a lot more about what's going on in direct mail today. So how does that work with BDP in driving that value?
It um, it certainly does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm stumbling is there's several kind of veins on this because you talked about Lambda a little bit and just BDP, which obviously doesn't require Lambda. There are many ways to produce
Yep.
that, and there's no question that that we should be utilizing data in the very most effective way we can. So when we started this digital print journey back in 2012. Um, I developed a really simple Venn diagram, which I can't show you because I just have my hands. But this very simple Venn diagram has been guiding the principal or been guiding our investment decisions for more than a decade now. And essentially, the first circle is just print. So we're printers. That's our craft. Anything we can do that makes it beautiful with better textures, better delivery, more emotional, then that's what we should be doing, right? That's where we should focus. We're printers. Second is where does data integrate with them? Any place where those two circles of data and print intersect makes it more valuable. And so we should absolutely be integrating that in many different ways, and whether that's full personalization or just regionalization or having making it easier to do versioning for the marketers that we're serving, great, but that should be part of the conversation all the time. And then just to finish the thought, the third circle is actually digital, not digital print, but the digital world. So
Mm-hmm.
any place where our print is interacting with the digital world, the most obvious and easy example of that being a QR code,
Yeah.
fantastic, right? Any place where print and digital interact, that increases the value. Any place where print and data interact increases the value. Any places where all three circles interact, that's what we want to do. And in my mind, that is what reinvent print is, going back to your prior question. Anywhere that we can create that more valuable print, which in my mind is the intersection of those three things, that's what we want to be about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also want to bring into the discussion sustainable mail, because again, that's something that's all over the website. Uh,
Yeah.
and what's the story behind it? What is it to begin with? And is this part of what reinventing print is about?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by, because you had asked about Lambda in the prior question. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
start with that because the way that this interacts, or the way this story started about sustainable mail and sustainablemail.com. So anybody can go and look at that. We've just recently launched it. It's taken us a little while to get it up and going,
Right.
but the concept is that we believe. So I personally, sustainability is very important to me personally, and so I've been working with influencing what I can inside the business in my personal life, to kind of align with those values. And so I we were asked to produce a piece some months ago for a paper mill in Canada who was doing some incredible work in sustainability, and they were producing 100% recycled, uncoated paper that printed beautifully. And I said, you've got to let me do this on the Landa press, because the Landa produces really beautiful, because of its technology, it produces really beautiful work on uncoated paper. And so I said, you've got to let me do that. And so we produced this piece. Actually, I grabbed and have the piece here. It
Oh, cool.
explains how the paper mill, their energy is 93% biogas, which is captured methane from a local landfill. And this brochure kind of tells the story of that.
Awesome.
And so I said, you've got to let me produce this piece on the Landa press, and because the Landa produces incredibly beautiful work on uncoated paper, like I was saying, but it has quite a nice environmental story, because the inks, not only are they water-based and use no harmful chemicals, but they're also very friendly in the recycling stream. And because of the nanotechnology, the ink is very, very thin, so there's a very small amount of ink. And so combining those two things, with the fact that we actually buy that paper as carbon neutral. And we actually have become a carbon balance printer ourselves. So they're through the World Land Trust, we're the first in North America to do that, where we fully balance all of our emissions. And so we produced this piece, and out of that, it just occurred to me, this is amazing. This paper is 100% recycled. It's FSC compatible. It's all the things, all the different logos you
Oh, the
care to make.
certifications, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the ink story, the Landa story, and then the carbon balancing story. And I thought, this is remarkable.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe there's an opportunity in the market to do something that is different, that truly focuses on it. That's what sustainable mail is all about. And
Okay.
honestly, we're trying to do a few things. One, I just explained a lot of the sustainability story to it. But two, we have really strong automation technology, so we can produce mail very fast. Three, I already explained the way the Landa press prints so beautifully. The Landa technology prints so beautifully on uncoated paper. So it's also beautiful. So it's sustainable, fast, and beautiful. And then honestly, we can make it affordable. I don't like environmental things that are very boutiquey and it's three times the cost or something. So our goal is to be able to do the most sustainable solution for printing direct mail.
Mm-hmm.
And from the sourcing and ink type and the carbon balancing, and then make it beautiful and put it in the mail in a hurry, and don't charge so much more. Don't make it so expensive. That's our goal as sustainable mail.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty compelling story.
It is. Yeah.
And and I think it also provides um, an alternative for people.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, if you go to an online mailing site or a place where you can get some postcards in the mail or something, you might have an option to do 10% or even 30% recycled paper or something, but that's usually kind of where it ends.
Right.
And our goal here was, no, this is the product we sell. Like, you can't buy our product non-carbon balanced. Like, you can't buy our product not on we will probably add some additional paper types.
Mm-hmm.
We started with this one that has this lovely story, but we'll probably add some others. But you won't be able to buy a 100% recycled paper, for example, in this case, very likely, or something that we're going to feel good about it from the sustainability story. So,
Right.
so that's really what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we're excited about it.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's what you guys are doing. But, thinking about other mail owners, printers, brands, what do you think that they can be doing proactively to bring or strengthen like a sustainable or carbon neutral print ecosystem and make that more of a reality?
We have to. We all have to, and I think that it starts with just recognition. We work in a resource intensive industry,
Right.
and it doesn't do any of us any favors, our customers, ourselves, or the marketing people we're working for, if we don't acknowledge that. So I think the first thing we do is just we acknowledge that it is a resource intensive industry, and then we make good choices
Mm-hmm.
after that. We look for FSC or PEFC or SFI certified paper. We work on our own waste profiles. We consider our carbon footprint. All of those things we can do, and we have to do it as an industry.
Yeah.
It can't be just one or two of us. We all have to be working on it. And
Right.
honestly, in North America, we're behind what I've seen and what I've witnessed in Europe. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that printing companies who aren't taking it seriously in Europe are losing business, absolutely. And I think that's the way of the future for us as well. It will be part of it. And it's because brands are looking for solutions. Brands have carbon targets that they're trying to achieve. So,
Right.
so we can help in that. Um, and it's becoming more and more important because it's important for consumers of those brands. So then the brands, of course, put pressure on on the
Right.
manufacturers and their partners.
Right. And it also occurs to me too that, that besides that intrinsic value, it can also be something that engages younger talent in, the print and mail ecosystem, uh, to bring those kinds of solutions into whatever part, that they're in, whatever part of the big print ecosystem, and say, hey, these solutions exist. We know that brands want them. We know that the customers of these brands want them. Why don't we bring those solutions in? And they're more open to that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't wait to be forced. We should be starting by understanding that lower waste is better, right?
Right.
Smarter choices around sustainable things are just good for all of us. It doesn't hurt when our customers come and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" or tell us about your, sustainability objectives, or where are you on carbon? Do you understand your footprint? All those kinds of things. And we need to not be afraid of those, because again, we need to be making progress on them, or it will be to our detriment.
Mm-hmm. So, besides sustainability, what kinds of trends or thoughts do you have about the role of direct mail, going forward, like the next few years? We know that certainly postage costs are been on the minds of marketers and marketing service providers for the last, especially this year with some of the large increases. What do you think there's trends are going?
What I believe is, and I sort of already hit on this when we were talking about reinvent print, and particularly just about valuable print generally, right? Mm-hmm. We have to prove our value. Print works. Print works. And it's a great fit for the modern marketer. It's an absolutely critical part of the toolbox, but we have to make it easy, right? I think it's still too hard to order print, so I think we need to work on that. I think that we often have better tools for integrating with our customers now, and I think we need to do more and more of that. Whether it's helping them kind of design campaigns, it's sort of incumbent on us to help them understand, one, why and how it works, and two, how do we add the things that our print can do now. But so many marketers really don't understand that all the things you can do in digital marketing, you can do in print, right? But we have to be smart about it. We have to integrate those elements. We have to work from data, from the point of data, and that's what makes print valuable. So, in my mind, because you asked kind of about the future, how do I, kind of see the future? And for one, it's that we have to understand data. We have to utilize data. So again, that's part of one of the circles in the Venn diagram. The other piece of it is that we have to prove value. So attribution becomes very important. And our methods are getting better, but they're still not as good as they need to be. And we're not as good at reporting all that as we should be. We have to prove ourselves to our customers. And then the third piece is again, it's just back to that Venn diagram, is what can we do to make print even more attractive? And again, you've talked about Landa. I mean, our Landa presses are 7-color, right? Right. We're actually doing some very interesting things with the newest version of Indigo as well, which we're quite excited about. So print technologies that make print more beautiful, more stable, more, quickly produced, all those things exist. We also have introduced embellishment and with the Scodix technology, and introduced a product that we call Topo that adds textures and contours and cool things to print. And most people don't think, or at least initially, when we were considering how does that apply in our world, and it's kind of easy to understand book covers, because we produce some books, maybe a special edition of a magazine cover. Hey, this is our 30th anniversary. Well, that maybe wants a nice touch to it, a nice special element to it. Those things are easy to understand, and we're seeing success in that. But most people think, oh, mail's too price conscious, right? Nobody be willing to spend a little extra to create a little bit more dynamic element on a piece of direct mail. We're finding
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. We're finding a lot of interest among our direct mailers. They
Okay.
do kind of want to understand, okay, this is going to cost me more. Will there be more benefit? And the
Right.
whole industry needs more data. We've actually been working with the FSEA, this Foil and Specialty Effects Association, to
Right.
do some testing. And I will tell you that kind of early results from one of the tests we did, the embellished versus non-embellished did add lift, and it added lift in about 4%. So it was
Okay. Well,
significant. So
good.
these are so again, you need more data, you need more science behind that. I think but the story really is it did add lift, and so we have been doing quite a bit of testing, with some of our direct mail clients for embellishment. So that's all kind of in that circle of how do we make more print more attractive, more beautiful, more textured, more more emotional, right, when the customer
Mm-hmm.
receives. And so we believe in that too. So it's got to be more personal. It's got to be more beautiful. It's got to be more sustainable, and we've got to do it fast. That's
Yeah.
that's that's the future. I think that's how we succeed in the future.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much again for your time today. I really appreciate that. How can someone reach out to you and your team at Hudson to talk about your solutions for their direct mail and their print campaign needs?
Yeah, easy to do. We're Hudson Printing. So it's just hudsonprinting.com. I'm Paul Hudson, and it's just phudson at hudsonprinting.com. Please
Mhm.
also check out sustainablemail.com. We'd be excited about that. Again, newly launched, so it's not quite perfect yet, but it's we're getting there. We're quite excited about that, and watch for additional product launches from us in the future. We're excited about mail. We love print. We know it works, and we think that we have some solutions that really are meaningful for marketers.
Awesome. Great. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more. Well, Paul Hudson of Hudson Printing, thank you again for being here on Meet the Mailers today. And thank all of you out there for joining us today. Remember that questions and feedback are welcome. Tap those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're interested in being highlighted in future Meet the Mailers, please reach out. My contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. And we can talk about how we could showcase your company, your solutions, and your thought leaderships all at the same time. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you here next time.